going to be pushing that cook for about 5 to 6 hours. It's low, it's slow, and you've got time.
Welcome back to Rad-Ventures, stories of innovators and business owners. This week's guest is Ross from the Open Flame Experience. Welcome, Ross.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here, and thank you very much for inviting me on.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
So, for the listeners and watchers, we've crisscrossed, like intertwined lovers throughout the last 5 years, haven't we, Ross? I think
we have indeed.
You went to school with my partner, I think.
Go on.
I'll tell you after.
Yes, fine.
So she might not want to be plastered all over the internet when this one goes completely viral. But for listeners and watchers at home, before we get into Ross's story and the Open Flame Experience, which I'm really excited to talk about, I just want to take a few minutes because for the first time since episode 3, I had to redo my intro, and it's all because I started with my line, which it was a bit ropey anyway. Because if you've been listening to me for a while, you know that I've changed the line, the intro line. But then I said, "Welcome to the show, Russ," when actually, obviously, I'm talking to Ross. Now, I've been thinking about this. This one's been booked in for a couple of weeks or so, and I've been thinking, as time's gone on, Rad-Ventures has changed slightly, and we've had a variety of guests, and we just, we're polishing the format as we go along. And I was thinking what we could do with Ross is we could have a like mock booking call where, I pull out the phone and I give it the old ring ring and you go, "Hello, Open Flame Experience." And I say, "Oh, hiya. I'd love to book on. Can you tell me more about yourself? And who are you?" And then you can say, "Oh, hi, I'm Ross, the founder." And I say, "Brilliant, Russ. Tell me more about it." And I was just going to do like an antagonistic fake call, but at the same time get all the information out of you via that training. The training calls, because I used to have to do those when I worked in a call center. We had like role play where we'd sat at the main desk with the director, and she'd kind of pretend to call, and then she'd say, "Right, talk me through what you're going to do now." And so I thought that might be a good feature. And obviously, that when I was just about to say Ross, that obviously popped into my brain and made me think about Russ. So apologies for that.
That's okay.
Let's talk about the Open Flame Experience.
I mean, first and foremost, I've been called definitely worse. So it's not the most terrible name. But yes, you are absolutely right. I am Ross. I'm owner and proud founder of the Open Flame Experience. This is a very, very new venture for me. We're literally talking 6 weeks from when this is recorded, so it's all very, very new. You may, if you are watching this, seen a little fairy face appear kind of here. That's my head of public relations, which is Ronnie. He is the true crowd pleaser of the business for sure. Open Flame Experience to me, so I've been catering for a long time now, working with a great establishment in the local area that does open flame, open fire cooking, but I really had a love and a passion for wanting to reach out and educate. So I really wanted to push that education because I feel food, produce, and everything is just taken a bit of a downfall, not only from a farming element, but also from the produce that we actually find in our supermarkets, but also children and even adults, to be fair. The education around food now and the understanding around food is actually quite bad. A prime example I had was catering an event, and a child came up and went, "What's that?" And there was a whole chicken. And I went, "That is a chicken, young man." And he went, and he laughed, belly laughed, and said, "No, it's not." And I went, "I can assure you it is." And when we went into a bit of a conversation about it, his version of a chicken was breaded about this size. It goes in an oven and gets served with chips and beans. So it kind of triggered a point, and I'm all about wanting to pass on. And one, it's a great way to cook over open fire. It's very theatrical. but it also brings people together, and I think it's a great way of being able to pass that on. So education is going to be a huge part of what's happening moving forward.
Yeah, that's awesome. I was thinking when you said about education and stuff, I was like, what's wrong with chicken nuggets?
I mean, well, mainly the chicken part. If they're proper chicken nuggets, there's not a bad thing, but we all know there are some dodgy versions out there that aren't correct at all, and the produce in there and what we're actually then digesting is not great. And it's not me preaching about it has to be the most expensive amount of food or nothing like that. It's just the fact that that kind of triggered an alarm bell to me, that one child, and I was just like, to me that child should know what a chicken looks like. It should
Mm.
also know where it comes from and the effort that's gone into it. So it's all about there. So working with schools, colleges, academies, but also doing public courses that people can book onto to come and just spend the day with me and just get hands on, do the experience, and learn about the quality of food and what you can actually do, not only over an open fire, but showcasing different meats, vegetables, and things that they may not come across, or they instantly go, I don't like that. But
Mm.
then you treat it in a different way and you politely force them to try it. But you do try and force them to try it, and then they end up appreciating it a lot more. And so, yeah, I really think there's something in this, and the response in a very short space of time has been fantastic. Literally trained a group of chefs yesterday up in Wales, which was amazing. Just because, believe it or not, the open fire element, as much as it goes decades and decades and decades back, the old caveman style. It's slowly coming back now, even into the most high end restaurants with the little boxes that they have in their kitchens, or they actually cook over wood fire. It's not on any curriculum, it's not on anything like that. It's just not being taught. So I don't think I'm going to take over the whole world when it comes to the education, but I want to be a part of it.
Well, if you do, we saw it here first on the Rad-Ventures
Absolutely,
podcast.
yes, yes,
Yeah.
you did.
Okay, so multiple things then. I want to talk about the actual days that you do because you said about going to Wales then, but at the same time you do have like a base camp here, don't you? In Dorset.
Yeah, so I'm based in Dorset, but my model, if we call it that, so the actual business model itself is I wanted to give the ability of travel. So I'm
Mm.
happy to go wherever, even into people's gardens if they wanted to accommodate it, sort of thing, and do like a family friend gathering and do a course that way, or go to like a local orchard, or go a bit further afield. I mean, the place that I went to yesterday was a beautiful setting, and it was outside of their establishment in what essentially was their car park. So it was almost like a, because they were open at the same time, so it was almost like a course, but then also a live demo at the same time.
Mm.
So there was lots of people interested in it, lots of people that hadn't seen that style before. And the business I worked with, they're actually looking to then go into hosting open fire events throughout the year, and that's why they wanted their chefs to learn it and stuff. And I'm more than happy to pass on what I know um, to others, and give them the ability and some knowledge around it where they feel confident enough to be able to do so.
Nice, nice. Okay, so without giving away all of your secrets, then I
Okay,
mean, we want people to come and buy your course.
of course.
But so talk us through then the kind of things that you'll do there. I mean, the fire, for example. Do you just grab a load of logs and you just chuck them in a pile on the floor, light it up, and then you're like, right, go and get the spit kind of thing? Or is it like when they do fire walking and you get all that kind of ready and you kind of get it started? Uh, how do you kind of do that? And do you? Oh yeah, we'll do that first. Yeah.
No, 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 that's cool. So yeah, it's basically proper kiln dried wood. It's allegedly now in the laws to say that even if you've got a log fire at home, the moisture has to be below 13% within the wood, because they don't want black smoke or anything else going out, or people burning pallets in their homes. It's just not healthy, it's not good, and it's not great for the environment. They've obviously done that. So I use dried wood, and then you basically get the fire rolling. And then obviously wood, the more you burn it and the more it burns out, turns into charcoal. Then you've got your embers, and so it's all controllable. And it's a case of utilizing that fire, not only the flame itself, but also then the heat source to then produce and cook what you're aiming to do throughout the day. And it's all about timings. The best way I can describe it is this style of cooking. You have time. If
Mm.
you're putting a big, I don't know, rib of beef up on top, for example, you're literally going to be pushing that cook for about 5 to 6 hours. It's low, it's slow, and you've got time, and then you've got time to do other bits. And so it is a long day, if you are catering an event or doing something private sort of thing. But on the actual course itself, I break it down into essentially courses. So there's full days, half days, but you could get breakfast, lunch, afternoon, evening meals, that those sorts of things, or you could just go afternoon, evening. I'm doing a course coming up with a group that literally just want to do that half day, but they just want to focus around like a big feast in the evening. So
Mm.
they want loads of food, loads of options, and then they're just going to chow down and have a few beers, sort of thing. That's fine. So everything's adaptable, as such, within reason, obviously. But even with like corporate clients or anything else like that, if they were to come on board, then it's all, you can add team building exercises into it. You can add a lot more direction. You can get them more hands on. You can team them up, and I don't know, give them like a canapé challenge, or they have to wire up a chicken with only one piece of wire, sort of thing, and they have to figure out how to do it themselves before then I show them my method of doing it. And it just adds a fun element to it. It makes people more engaged with it. And like I said, the people that I want to invite onto here are anything from the basic of basic cooks, the can't cook, won't cook people, if we can make a reference to that TV program, to actual chefs that just want to learn another string to their bow, sort of thing.
Mm.
And it covers all of it, because as much as it's a very raw way of cooking, raw meaning not the end product, but obviously the actual open flame. Um, but the actual style of it as well, it just looks cool. There's no other way to describe it. It looks great. Not only does it taste great, so for me, when it comes to the experience side of things, it hits all the senses that you want out of what I would want out of a restaurant. So the sight, the smell, the sounds, the taste, everything. I want all the senses to be hitting. And open flame, the experience that I offer, the feasting side of things, that is to hit all that experience, because I want people to be wowed by it,
Mm.
essentially, because I enjoy what I do and I want to pass that on. So here's hoping that everyone else can jump on that bandwagon and be just as amazed as I am, and want to try some crazy stuff out.
It sounds really cool. What it makes me think of is, and I don't know, this might be a little bit off, so do correct me. But on YouTube, not YouTube, sorry, Netflix, there was a TV show that they do like barbecue, like
Yeah,
backyard barbecue or something, and
the
then they,
American
yeah,
program.
yeah, yeah, and they start off with like 12 people in a yard, well, you know, like an American yard, and they get like given some bricks and some wood, and then they're like, "Here's your pig. What are you going to do with it?" And it sounds like that to me.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
in that they had to like because obviously fire's quite a hot and dry stuff out kind of thing. So do you spend a lot of time kind of basting and injecting liquid into the meats and stuff like that, like on that TV show, or is that not something you kind of is involved with?
So yes, you can. I wouldn't. I don't tend to dabble too much in the injecting side of things. I think that is a very more Central America, that Texas sort of way of doing things, which I'm not saying is incorrect. It's just something I don't necessarily do.
Mm.
What I do, it's all about uh, distance between the fire and the actual product that you're looking to cook. So I would refer to it within a course as direct and indirect heat. Difference being, if you put something in your oven at home, that is a direct heat. It's a constant heat. You set it at 180, you know it's at 180. With open fire cooking, the temperature gauges below the meat is my hand. So you and I, as two human beings, we hope, run at 36 degrees. So anything above 36, you're going to feel. If it's super, super hot, you're going to pull your hand away quite quickly. And then you know to adjust it. And it's all about gauging the right level and the right height and the right distance between the fire to make sure, remembering that you've got the time element. So you've got the hours to be able to cook it, but then you don't want to overcook it to therefore, like you say, dry it out. It becomes tough. You just need to let it relax. You just need to, and something I got taught a long time ago in a kitchen. It's a similar method. If you heat up a pan on your stove and you put your hand flat on that pan, don't recommend it to anyone. But if you were, the first thing you do is tense up and you explete a load of explicits
Mm.
and wonder why you did it, and then you go and run your hand under a tap. But the point of that method is you tighten up. It's exactly the same for meat products and stuff. It's all like us. There's muscle, there's sinew, there's fats, there's everything else in there. So if you put it in an intense heat, it's going to tighten up. But if you put it away from that heat and it's nice and low and slow, it allows that meat to just relax and just chill out. So
Mm.
if you can picture a whole lamb that's on a cross and it's cooking low and slow, just picture it with its legs behind its head. It's just kicking back. It's like having a little suntan. It's like it's gone abroad. It's gone away from the 20s. It's into the mid 30s, 40-degree heat, and it's just relaxing and it's baking. And that's the method behind it. And then there's different things that you can do, from brining, so dry brines, wet brines. It just helps retain moisture, firm up the meat, and allow it to be more receptive when it comes to the open flame.
I love it. So I imagine that there's quite a lot of prep work in preparing one of these days to start with. Oh, but mind you, you did say there's a lot of time. So do you do your butchering on site, or do you kind of go in ready?
So it all depends on what I'm actually doing on the day, and the courses I want to kind of explore. Some of the courses might just be specified around beef products, and then other accompaniments, and then it could be pork, and then so to be able to showcase prep wise, I try and keep it as minimal as possible, because at the end of the day, the lucky people that get to come on the courses and they book onto it, I advertise it as a hands-on experience. If I turn up with everything pretty much done, then no one's really getting hands-on. Yes, they get to do the cooking element side of things, but that's why you've got the time. So before we even, if it's an all-day course, before we even hit breakfast, for example, we have to get all the big meats on, cooking low and slow. Then we can cook the breakfast. Then we do. So it's all about just juggling the timings and just making it work from there. But yeah, I try and do as little as possible, not only for my own benefit, but for everyone else that's coming along, because I want them to learn basic knife skills to basic butchery and stuff like that, because it's the whole idea of the experience. I want them to leave wanting to go home and try something or try several things.
That's cool. That's cool. So okay, so thinking about the experience then, um, when people turn up, have you got? Are you using your global set of knives, or are you using like handmade kind of bespoke? You know, these fancy catering knives that people do now, like the Viking inspired ones. I mean, they're sharp as anything, Japanese steel still, but
Yeah.
you know they're like an antler as a handle or something like that.
So no, it's not global. All my knives are handmade. They are forged. Literally, I'm well live in Bridport, literally just down the road. Shout out to Mr. Jack Pardo, who is the knife maker, and he's done an incredible job. I've got some very unique wooden handles, not quite antler, but some very unique woods, some Japanese red oak and stuff like that that he had to create it. But all knives have different purposes, and again, it's being able to educate that. I mean, majority of kitchens for the the day-to-day cooks tend to maybe only have one go-to knife that they tend to use for absolutely everything, or you get the lesser confident person using this tiny little knife to literally try and chop everything because they feel like a big knife they'll be out of control with it. And it's just being able to allow these people to utilize what are my tools essentially to go, I trust you with these, and be careful, they are sharp, and just teach them some basic skills around how to work a knife, let the knife do the work. Yes, I'm very proud of my knives. It's yeah, like you say, it's like any tradesperson sort of thing or anything else. You buy the tools, know what you use
Mm.
for yourself. It's your setup, it's your computers, it's your microphone, and everything else like that. You buy what you want to invest in, and they're my tools for life. You look after them; they'll last for a whole lifetime. They'll pass on. They'll go through generations if you treat them right. So yes, no, I'm very true to that style.
I'll pop Jack's website into the show notes at the end
Yes.
on YouTube and on the audio platforms. But yeah, my knives when I worked in catering are still lovingly in the drawer, and I tend to have one. You know, I don't need to use them all now. Like I don't need the filleting knife. I don't need the deboning knife. You know, I don't spend Wednesday afternoons just hacking up a rump steak. But yeah, my go to was what was it, 14 centimeter Santoku
Nice.
for chopping up all the time. But you get precious about them, and actually, my partner she was more precious about them than I was because of the nature of them and the way they are. They couldn't go in the dishwasher. Which, if you've ever worked in like obviously you and I have, but if you've ever worked in a commercial kitchen, you know, pot washers just grab everything and anything. But yeah, every time they went in the dishwasher, oh my god, I'd like run away.
Yeah, I had the pleasure a couple of years back. I went on a knife forging course because I wanted to not only forge my own knife sort of thing, but to actually learn the skills and techniques that actually went into it and the graph behind it. And it's not just machine pressed and everything else like that. It's proper like get the steel in the fire sort of thing, and then
Mm.
you're literally there with pincers and a hammer, literally rattling it out. And that was, I mean, I'll mention another name, Alex Pohl, phenomenal bladesmith, ironsmith. He does it all, and he does courses throughout the year, and it was amazing to learn and come away not only feeling proud of the 7-inch chef knife you just made from start to finish, but it was also then the understanding of everything they go through to actually make just one knife,
Yeah,
and that knife somehow then has to be sold to obviously then maintain the business and everything else. So they can only make one at a time, sort of thing, or two at a time if they're lucky. But everything needs to be done under control. So yeah, big shout out and massive appreciation for the work that they do. And it's a trade that is fading, but there are still some great people around that still do it. So.
yeah. There's a TV show on. It was on Discovery. I don't know if it's still on. Oh god, I can't remember what it's called now. Basically, they make knives, and they're on like 4 or 5 series. And they have like this workshop, and then you know you get 4 hours or whatever it is to make a blade, and then you get a couple more hours to make a handle. Then the winner goes through to the final. I'm gonna have to like put that in the show notes somewhere.
Yeah, I know. I need to
Um,
know that because I haven't seen that.
Forged in Fire. That's what it's called.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good show. But you could get like a mini furnace, and you could have that going next to the fire, and you could do like one side cooking and one side kind of knife forging.
Are you offering to do the forging? Because
No,
I've
no,
got
no.
enough on my plate.
I'd be like, mind you, by the time you have to have an anvil, don't you, or like a hammering machine? So you'd have to like kind of hoik that around everywhere as well. Yeah, no, maybe not. Maybe that's sort of future when you've got a few more team members.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Who
Okay,
knows?
let's talk briefly about the past.
Go for it.
Because obviously you've mentioned that you're in catering. You've mentioned working in catering establishments. Is that something you always wanted to do, even when you were at school? Was it like I want to be a chef? Or
So I'm probably gonna. Well, no, I don't. I don't like to regret a lot of things. So I'll just go out and say it anyway because it's funny. It's entertaining. My mum, bless her, she always still says to this day that I was the first legit naked chef. As a child, I think I was 3 or 4 years of age. I wanted that Fisher Price plastic kitchen from that age, and I literally just wore either just the chef's hat, or if I was feeling a little bit cold, maybe I might put the apron on. And that was it. That's where it started. And then my nan, bless her, when she was alive, she got me understanding and getting more hands on in the kitchen from about the age of 6. Stood on a stall, making breads, pastry, that sort of thing, and understanding her methods behind it. And there was just a fascination behind it. I suppose the first kitchen I kind of wormed my way into, I was 13, 14, and did the whole classic I'll be your KP. Ended up probably washing half a fork before I just stood there and ended up just watching everyone in the kitchen.
Mm.
And to then be shouted at, and I was just like, well, I'm just interested. And then it kind of developed from there. The chef was really cool. He kind of put me on some prep, just to try and learn a few bits, and I suppose I was hooked from there. And I can't sit here and say that I'm classically trained. I'm probably
Mm.
more self-taught. I never did the whole college thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But I've been fascinated, and especially through my travels and things like that, I've wanted to beg, borrow, and scrape my way into kitchens, not only from restaurants, but also to get invited into people's homes in these countries and actually learn from the mums, the dads, the children, and stuff like that, just as to how they do things, and then in return, then actually cook something for them. And I suppose then it just developed and grew from there. And I just wanted to learn as much as I possibly can, kind of be that sponge into it. And then just something big for me is having the freedom of creativity. And I suppose coming away and becoming self-employed for the last, what, 4 years, nearly 5 years. It was a great decision. It was a nerve-wracking decision, as I'm sure you can understand,
Mm.
to come away from that security and that stability. But then that freedom of creativity then just was allowed to be grown. There was no asking for permission. There was no, can we create this? It was just yeah, let's give it a go. Let's try it. Let's go for it, sort of thing. So I'm very, very grateful for that, because working in commercial kitchens, as I know you have as well, it's when you've got the same dishes, the same menu, day in, day out, week in, week out. Yeah, there might be an occasional special that you're able to put on, but you're doing the same prep, you're doing the same dishes, and it can quickly lose the fun out of it. Um, Not necessarily the drive. Like there's a certain buzz that I think only certain chefs can understand when that ticket machine's flying and stuff like that. The kitchens are in an energetic buzz
Mm.
of bad language and hot pans, but like there's a certain thrive about it. But coming away from all that and away from the bigger groups and working with lots of people, lots of managers to area managers to directors and stuff, all that have opinions. I'm not saying their opinions are wrong. It's just for me and my mindset, yeah, I needed that freedom. I needed that freedom of creativity. So yeah, the experience started probably very, very young. If we can go back all there to fake cooking plastic food and corn on the cob in a fake pan that kind of made some weird little sizzle noise.
Mm.
But that's how I remember it. That's where I wanted to go. You kind of got the mickey taken out of you through school when you wanted to take up food technology rather than anything else. But it was just something I needed and wanted to do. To have the experiences that I've had, I've been very lucky and very grateful. And especially now in the position that I'm in now, starting my own new venture and being able to take that forward and pass on my knowledge that I've learned from some amazing people. And I think that's probably why I'm thriving around the whole educational experience side of things, because so many people in my background have been so warming and welcoming in passing on their knowledge,
Mm.
and that's allowed me to develop. And so if I have the opportunity to do the same for others, then I'm all for it. And yeah, there's a lot of drive and a lot of passion around it. So yeah.
I love that, and it's funny you should mention your old Fisher Price kitchen and the Naked Chef because actually your mum sent in a photo. No, I'm joking.
Do you know what? She probably has actually got some of my peachy white ass hanging out the back of an apron somewhere, cooking some plastic food.
Um, yeah. Okay. So to catering then. I mean, I enjoyed my time in catering, but it's a very you find people leave it for a reason. It's you don't you get the people that kind of do it all the time. You get the people that kind of climb the ladder. The people mostly they go your route though, self-employed. The old famous chefs. Gordon Ramsay. Marco Pierre White, all that, they went and they started their own businesses and expanded from there. They didn't get stuck, working in the same place all the time, even as a head chef.
Yeah.
But what I found is that, both me and my partner were in the same industry, and because we were working shifts when we were in a baby, I knew that was only going to work for so long.
Yeah.
But, catering did set me up for my life now in admin. And when I was when I swapped to admin, when I got my first admin job, I started working. We come back to Weymouth from being away, and I was working at one of the local fish and chip shops. That's a chain, and it was kind of like an in between the catering world, and because it was still kind of shifts, it was still cooking, but at the same time you were talking to normal people that were just picking up their fish and chips, and then when I went for a job interview at the company, I ended up working up in Poole in sales, sales admin, so customer service rather than selling things.
Yeah.
She said to me about catering and how I thought I would get on, and I was like, I've been prepping meals and getting them out in 20 minutes for the last 7 years or whatever it is. I think I can answer a couple of emails within the space of 8 hours. And she was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I mean all that prep work and all that, taking the fridge temperatures every day, cleaning fryers, cleaning ovens, dragging fridges out, all that kind of stuff just makes perfect background for doing those horrible everyday admin jobs. So I am grateful for my time in catering, but I'll tell you what got me into it. And it's funny that you mentioned it. It's like in the early 2000s. It was quite a popular subject. Jamie Oliver was on his campaigns. Gordon Ramsay had a couple of TV shows. Can't Cook, Won't Cook was on every day,
Yeah.
and they had a different chef on there every week, didn't they? With old Anthony Wald Thompson and Ainsley Harriott.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh God, what's that guy that did the sugar adverts? Gary. God, I've forgotten his
Rose.
Rose. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, but and I was like, cool. They get to play with knives. They get to play with fire. That sounds like the career for me. But it is a difficult career, isn't it? Those split shifts, killer, working weekends, working bank holidays, and sometimes Christmas. Just not a very nice industry socially, I would think.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of restaurants and hospitality venues and stuff kind of mention if they've now got these group chats and stuff like that, they'll put it as the family or the work family, or they treat their colleagues as work family or
Mm,
the work wife or the work husband and stuff, because you end up spending so much time with these people. You kind of end up forming a social bubble, but within work.
yeah.
And it becomes like quite a very strange accessibility to, and then it's just then like you end up, I'm sure other people can relate. You can, as you get older and stuff, and you stick to your own careers and stuff, you can lose or drift away from friendships and stuff, just
Mm,
because when it comes to the Friday and the Saturday nights, they're just like, oh, do you fancy a few beers down the pub? And you're like, no, I'm working a double,
yeah.
or I'm doing this, or no, it's Wednesday and I've already done 80 hours sort of thing. And it's just like, and it happens. But for me, sorry if I'm going off. Well, it's not off tangent, but but for me, the likes of the charity, the Burnt Chef Project and stuff, they're really trying to highlight um, people's well-being and mental health within. Well, it was initially focused on chefs. Now it's just hospitality in general, and now they're actually offering whole training programs to companies and things like that. But they're really trying to focus in and trying to get a better work-life balance for people within the industry, because it is tough, and you've either got to love it or you hate it enough to just never want to do it. And I think that's why, without going into delving too far into it, but I think that's why hospitality, or it's one of the reasons why hospitality is struggling so much at the moment. One, there's a massive lack of chefs now that are actually wanting to be in the kitchens, because, not to go back too far, but like when the whole lockdown happened, people realized that how much freedom they had to spend at home, see friends, obviously when you're allowed to do so, and with the kids, or if they had kids, to spend time with them, and they ended up changing their careers just on the basis of that. So when it all reopened again and all started, there was a mass shortage. Plus then you've got all the produce and everything else going as high as it is. I think it's just causing these environments to struggle massively, and I think then the price goes up. I'm not condoning anyone to trying to stay afloat and keeping their business alive, but then the quality of food, not only from what's being produced and what's being available, it then just slips, or the price is just going so high they end up buying a lesser product and stuff. And I think it just puts like this negative spin on it. And I think there needs to be big changes, certainly within our country, around it, because I think if you had the ability to create more of a work-life balance within the hospitality, give the passion back into the creative people, not only the chefs but the front of house staff, to how the venue looks, to how it needs to be created, to how the menus look, to what drinks are being served, to what's on the menu, to what food can be created. I think then if you release those boundaries, it then gives more value and perspective into those people, and they actually feel like they're achieving more, rather than just coming in doing a 14, 15, 16 hour day and then struggling to even get a thank you out at the end of it. And then you're absolutely knackered, but then suddenly you've got to get your head down and do it all again the next day. So yeah, it's a tough place to be. I'm not trying to sugarcoat it and say that it's not, but I think there could be a lot that could be done. And like I mentioned, the Burnt Chef project is certainly one of others that are out there that are really, really trying to focus in on this and do their part into making what they believe is right. And I think what they're doing is fantastic as well.
Yeah, again, I'll pop the Burnt Chef project into the show notes. And obviously, if anyone is struggling and listening to this, then, do reach out, kind of thing. Um,
100%.
so, good. Okay, I think we'll pause that there for chefing, etc., catering. We'll get
Yep.
on with the questions.
Okay.
Okay, so these are a complete blind react. You've not seen these, you've not heard them, we've not been through them previously. I think some of these are going to be great. So I think I mentioned that you're similar age to me. I think you're actually a year younger than me,
Yeah.
or you're somewhere in between. So you must be between 86, 85 and 86, somewhere around there, I reckon. As in the year you were born, not you're 86
I was going to
years old.
say that is.
Yeah.
I know I'm looking a bit rough around the edges, but that is definitely not my age.
Yes, I'm actually 90 years old. I know I look good for it, but yeah, no.
You look fantastic for it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so I reckon you must be 38, if not 39. You might just turn 39.
I'm 38.
Okay. So, 38, what has been your favourite age so far?
My God. 21.
Nice.
Do I need to elaborate, or am
No,
I
no.
just spitballing an age?
It's like, if you don't want to elaborate, full stop, we'll leave it there. That's cool.
No, 21. Literally, as I remember, that was my first job abroad, and I celebrated my 21st out there, and it was pretty incredible.
Nice, I love
That
it.
was awesome.
I must remember to go back to that after we finish the questions.
Okay.
Okay, what is your favourite quote? It could be a movie quote, a meme, a motivational quote, or any other quote you can think of.
Um, it's from my favorite film, Shawshank Redemption. Get busy living or get busy dying, and it's just that mentality behind, you've either got to live it or you're just going to waste it, and then you're gone. So grab it and go with it.
I do like
Basically,
Shawshank. It's a good film, that.
it's a wicked film.
Yeah, good quote, like that one. Okay, bit of an admin question here. And I know that, technology is not your thing, but we'll go with
You
it
said you
anyway.
wouldn't bring this up.
Is it so Google Suite or Microsoft 365? Which do you use?
Couldn't even tell you.
Okay, cool. I would imagine that you probably don't need much. You've got a website, you've got emails. I can't imagine you're typing up things all the time. You're not using spreadsheets. I doubt. Well, you could use them for costings and stuff, I suppose.
Yeah, there's an element of spreadsheeting, but it's nothing too advanced. At the end of the day, I work with knives, fire, and meat.
Yeah.
Technology is a little bit out the window.
That's a fantastic answer. Okay, question number 4. Again, a bit technology this one, but
Okay,
what app can you not live without?
pains me to say, but WhatsApp, like it's just that avenue now that it's almost like text messaging doesn't exist anymore, but
Mm,
so everything's through WhatsApp now. So it seems to be the go-to avenue and message, well, the way of messaging now, family, friends, but also anything from a business point of view. It all seems to be now just dripping through WhatsApp. And then I suppose from a advertisement side of things, the dreaded or non-dreaded, however you look at it, social media. Like those platforms are there, but I do feel like unless I do an absolute dick of a dance, then no one's going to see anything. So yeah, but I'd say yeah, WhatsApp is probably the app
yeah, cool.
for me.
I think we'll elaborate on the old social media slightly while we're on the subject, only because I've mentioned it earlier in the week in my stories on Instagram. And you do find that when you go self-employed, that not only are you now you're the founder, the chief exec, you're the accountant, you're the marketing manager, you're the sales manager. You've got all those hats, and then you've then got to provide a social media presence. Well, you don't have to, obviously, but
Yeah.
it is tough. Okay, I'm going to wrap the questions up there because the last one I don't think will apply. What would be the optional question of which I mentioned briefly before we started recording, is normally the car question, but you did say about vans. So
Yeah,
all about that van life, yeah.
I do like the van life. Yeah, it's vans I just find nicer to drive. Like cars do their bit, but I'm just a bit bored.
Yeah.
But vans I just think very versatile, should we say? And then obviously you can just potter away if you need to, sort of thing. So yeah, I'm very lucky to have a camper van and the luxuries there if I ever want to and or need to, should we say? So yeah, van life all the way.
I do like the higher up position of a van, so you can see more.
Hmm.
And also, it's handy to have all that space in the back, isn't it?
True, very true.
I would have,
Especially for the kit that I need to carry around. Yeah,
yeah, I would imagine that you've got quite a lot of kit to carry around. That like St Andrew's cross for your lamb that you're going to have to like.
yeah. Very true, very true. But yeah, no, I've just always liked vans.
Thinking back, then before we start, talking about winding up the show, though we're still here, so don't stop listening or watching.
Don't you
Um,
dare.
you mentioned at 21 that you went travelling, so
Yeah.
and you did allude to that much earlier in the show. So
Hmm.
what type of places did you go travelling? How long were you away for work and such things like that?
I was away for a number of years. Like I had the pleasure of being in France, Switzerland. I did a stint on a yacht for I think it was around 10 months, that sort of thing. Just sailing around the Mediterranean. It sounds very lavish, but when you're working, it's not as lavish as people may think. If I was a guest for that period of time, it
Mm.
would be fantastic. But it was an experience, and at that early stage in the career, shall we say, it was very much wanting to explore these places, wanted to go out there, learn as much from as far as the mountains up in Switzerland, sort of thing, living in the snow, living in those conditions, to then being on a yacht in 35, 40-degree heat in the peak, sailing through the Mediterranean, going around Greece and everything else like that. It's a total change, but the exploration of that and what I picked up and what I learned in all that time was phenomenal. And it's stuff that will stay with me forever, not only from a memory point of view, but also from the things I learned from a kitchen, a cooking, and even going out and retrieving the food from whether that was a forage or going to an actual farm itself or diving into the sea and going octopus hunting with a guy in red speedos that didn't speak English. It's experiences that are just there, and like I said, I'm forever grateful and I feel very lucky and privileged that I had the opportunity to do all that. Um, but if anyone, well, I say if anyone's listening, of course people are listening. But if you ever have the opportunity to do so, or if it's there and you have the capabilities to do it, I recommend it to anyone. Even just to go and explore a different country rather than a holiday, actually spend some time out there, learn the culture and stuff. It's amazing. It's such a great experience.
That sounds awesome. And I would imagine that obviously, like, culinary mastermind that is France, and then the Mediterranean would have been great for catering and learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds really good. One more thing on my mind. What do you want to do if and when you grow up? But I think I know the answer. It's doing what you're doing now, right?
It is, to be fair. Like I'm in a great place. I mean, I understand the people that want to set 5 and 10 year plans and 15, 20, and everything else like that. But I find that hard to do, not only from trying to picture myself that far down the line, but it's very much the here and now. You work on what you've got and you work on the enjoyments from it. If you ever get to the unfortunate point in life or career or whatever the case may be, where you're not feeling fulfilled in what you're doing and stuff, either make the right changes to make it fulfilling or have a change and make a difference. You've made a change in your career. I know I tried to at some point, and you easily come back to where well I did. I felt more comfortable with what I was doing, but the passion and the drive is all there. It's just piecing it all together and just making sure that message goes out to everyone. Is the fact that I'm in this, yes, for myself, being a business owner and setting something up, but there's so much more to it than that. Like the privilege I've got coming up working with schools and stuff. These are kids that are going to experience something that maybe they wouldn't ever be able to experience, but they may want to. Like even having the privilege of working with a catering college, for example. These are young students that are wanting to become chefs, and then they have an open flame experience where they're able to see a totally different style of cooking. It's amazing how their eyes just open and they're just like, so this is an opportunity. This it potentially is a route that they could go down and stuff.
Mm.
So yeah, it's very much wanting it to grow and see where it takes me and see see what journey that means and the places it gets me to go and the people I get to meet and um, like I had a very prestigious and well known chef. She's been on telly a lot under Michelle Reed Jr. and stuff like that. She randomly reached out to me the other day, and just through the powers of social media, she somehow came across my page and messaged out. I thought she was joking, called her bluff. She ended up sending a voice message, and I was like, "Oh shit, it is actually here." Please don't take offense by me saying that you're a liar, but like, but it's ended up developing into a concept now that could actually really grow and. She's very much about theatrics and experiences and stuff, and the fact that I'm going to work with her in the future is going to be amazing on the basis that we can bring both of our skill sets together and make something crazy happen. And yeah, it's amazing how the world can work and what can be put in front of you when you have no clue that it's even ever going to happen or be an option. And that's why I kind of love living in the moment rather than trying to plan too far ahead. So I'm loving what I'm doing. I'm loving what I'm trying to create. So I'm good right here.
Yeah, I love that, and I love the fact that like you've got that opportunity through the power of social media. Something that I talk about quite a bit, not a bot, a bit, is that the journey we go on in self employment. And how crazy things are. Like, I wouldn't have thought, if you'd told me 5 years ago that I'd be sat here right now talking to you on a podcast, I would be like, shut up. I just type on my computer. And it's the journey we go on, the expansion of our wings, and we learn to fly, kind of thing. And that I'll fully admit I am building this plane as I'm flying it.
Yeah.
But it's like, when in my catering days, it was always like, well, it's always going to be split shifts. It's always going to be working for someone else. It's always good. I'm stuck, as it were. But nowadays, and I think this was kind of a good thing from COVID. Not, don't come for me on that. Don't no, calm down. Like one
Yeah.
thing was that it did open our eyes a little bit, and there
It
are
did.
much more opportunities. Now, I can't imagine before COVID you saying, "Look, I'm going to start this education program where I'm going to cook in the middle of a field on a fire. I'm going to teach people all about it, and about healthy eating. Oh, and by the way, yeah, I'm a chef."
Yeah.
I would be like, "What? No, get in your
Yeah.
kitchen.
Yeah.
Head off to London, go and see Marco Pierre White or whatever, and get yourself making a tarte tatin or something." Well, nowadays, that's it, and then you got these opportunities from the joys of social media.
Yeah.
We could be seeing you on a Channel 4 documentary next week, Ross.
What, next week?
Well, not next
I
week,
think
but you
I've
know what I
hit
mean.
my peak being on this podcast, to be honest.
Oh
So
well, that's
I
very kind
don't.
of you to say. Yeah, you're fulfilled for the month, but we've only got 6 days left, so Channel 4
That's
next month.
true. It's true.
Yeah.
But just to add to what you were saying as well, I heard something. This was a few weeks back, but there was a lady I was chatting to, and she mentioned about um, she was inspired by people that kind of took that jump, took that leap, and she made a comment of people living in the cultural shadow. And that just really resonated with me on the basis that there is quite a I don't want to sound all doom and gloom, but there is a bit of a black cloud, and it's the whole live to work rather than work to live. It's all like the wrong way round sort of thing. It's and that kind of it was rather than following the crowd, it was kind of be your own and be your own person. And like by no means am I the only person that cooks over open fire sort of thing. There's multiple people not only in Dorset but further afield and across the world. That's why there is so much of a style about it. But if each and every individual, it is a great community. I mean, like once a year you've got Metopia over in London and now up in Glasgow and stuff, where these people actually come together and then actually showcase, and they all do different things, and it's all like one big, I can't say happy family, but
Mm.
like because there'll always be someone. But I think it's amazing that you can have on a high street multiple restaurants, or what should be multiple restaurants or multiple shops, and they may do a similar thing, but that's okay.
Mm.
Like a bit of friendly competition to help lift it. Or it's the basis, I don't know, you could have a pizza place down the road and you're on holiday and you've had that pizza and you're like, oh, do you know what, we're looking to actually eat out again in a couple of days, but we're looking for this. That person should then confidently be able to go, I don't do this,
Mm.
but I know a great place that does.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think even that's fading out now, and it's
Mm.
just like, come on, this is bullshit. Just help people out. Just literally, and like you reaching out to me and inviting me on this sort of thing.
Mm.
You've done that for yourself as well and your channel, but you're also helping me out loads. You're willing to promote what I'm trying to do and allow me to talk about it freely. And I think that's one credit to yourself for actually wanting to do that within your busy schedule. I think there could be more opportunities to do that, and I think more people should learn from it. Essentially, is what I'm saying. Sometimes a scratchy back situation does actually go a long way. It's not a case of going, "Oh, do you remember what I did in 1998 for you?"
Mm.
It's just a case of helping that person there and then somehow it all comes around, whether it's direct from that person or later on down the line something good comes for yourself, sort of thing. I just think there's more rather than the blinker situation. Just people open their eyes up. Sorry, I've sidetracked a
Yeah.
little
No,
bit
no.
there. Had a little bit of a rant.
No.
Someone put 50p in me, but there we go.
I love that though, and I'm always about collaboration over competition, and it's like, yes, the people, well, we get mutual exposure from this, but I'm just happy to like showcase other people's businesses. And
Yeah.
talk about their journeys. That the journey that I had from like catering to offices to motorbike. I worked in a motorbike place for 2 to 3 years nearly, in between my sales admin days and my self-employment journey. And I just like talking to people about their journeys. But I think ultimately the message that boils down to is just be kind to everyone, and and we should all be a bit happier. We should all be nicer to each other. We're all in similar waters. We have different boats, but yeah,
Yeah,
similar stormy seas. So
absolutely.
I think we'll wrap up on that point, Ross. Tell
Well done. You
everyone,
remembered.
tell everyone where they can find you.
So it's literally as simple as website is theopenflameexperience.co.uk. Instagram, the Open Flame Experience. My email details, contact number, everything that you can get hold of me is on those channels. And yeah, just keep an eye out. Even if you just go onto the website and I've got like a join the family section at the bottom, and then you can be put into like a mailing system, or even just shoot me a message, or just even just follow on the social media. And then if there's anything that comes up, it doesn't have to be in the immediate future. It could be later on down the line. Just I just want as many people to come and get involved in this if they find an interest. It's also a great gift to give out to people. Just release some gift vouchers as well. That is ready available, but they're the best places to get hold of. And yeah, come and have a look. Come and check it out and see what you think.
That's fantastic. I will put your website and your Instagram handle into the show notes so people can check those out. Thanks very much for coming on though, Ross.
No, massive appreciation to yourself.
No,
Thank
pleasure
you.
to talk to you. I can't believe it's taken us so long to actually
I
talk.
know. I know.
But yeah, no, great to talk to you. I could talk to you for hours, but obviously we don't want to go on forever. People get bored listening to us talk about catering, I think.
And we're not Joe Rogan.
Yeah, not Joe Rogan. Though, if he does need a stand-in, then I reckon if I shave my beard off, then I might be all right.
This guy.
We really appreciate you. Thanks for watching / listening, however you're on the platform. You can support us on Patreon. Check that out. It'll be in the show notes. And I'll see you next time with a different guest. But in the interim, be excellent to each other. Peace out.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on Rad-Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe via your favourite platform. Always happy to chat, so hit me up in the DMs. And I'll see you on the next Rad-Venture.